Is exactly what the task of Nvidia is, to somehow lift these markets higher. I said in yesterday's video that a lot of the chief and top analyst companies in the world are saying that the market can go higher, but it's going to be the same market leaders pushing it there. And so tomorrow, Wednesday, after market close, we're going to find out whether or not Nvidia has beat or met or is going to give good forward guidance on its earnings. And right now, today, things are looking bearish, but I think these are just some pre-market jitters, and I'm not in any way convinced that Nvidia's run is over just yet. I'm going to break down some technicals for you guys. We're going to look at the big picture view. We're going to talk about a potential stock split. This is the Stocks with Josh show. As always, thank you for joining me. Please feed the algorithm with a like, throw a hi and a heart in the comment section. Just say hello, ask me any questions you'd like, and hit that subscribe to keep getting stock and crypto videos on these hot markets. At the very end of this video, I'm going to give you guys a little bonus content regarding Tesla. In my last video, I made a prediction about where the price action would go, and we got there much quicker than expected. And I think I'm going to tell you guys, I think there's an opportunity for the next prediction that I made in my last video to come to pass quicker than people are expecting as well. So make sure you stay till the end. All right. What exactly is going on with Nvidia today? So these guys fell today at the lowest moment of the day, down 6.41%, a decrease of $46 on the day. But that's not that big of a deal because this stock is almost up 50% so far this year. They fell back under $700, down to $689. Now, one of the things that did concern me is seeing the increase in volume. So when this thing began to sell off, there was a spike in selling volume. It went up 45% over the daily average volume. Now, that's not too big of a deal because the volume, as we've begun to reach the top of this push, it's been slowing down. And so it would be expected to see some sort of an increase in volume on a big selling day like this. So we're going to have to wait on the earnings, and we're going to look at the charts to get an idea of where the stock could be going. Just this pullback enough does not mean that the run is over. So what is the market expecting from Nvidia tomorrow? It seems to me like the market is expecting the impossible. So last year, these guys were doing around $6 billion in a quarter. They're expecting a $23 billion revenue quarter from them. That would be a triple revenue growth. They're also, last year, were doing 88 cents earnings per share in the same quarter. This year, they're expecting on the median range $4.56 earnings per share, and some estimates are expecting it to be over $5, which again would be a 400% growth in earnings per share. So the market's got very high expectations for this hot stock. Even if they met expectations, if they don't give good forward guidance going into the rest of this year, there'd be plenty more reasons for profit taking. The last time that they reported earnings, it also sold off for a brief period of time, but that quickly led into the run-up that we just saw. And so the fact that we are seeing some selling pressure today, and even if we see selling pressure throughout the rest of this week, it doesn't mean that the run-up is over. Now, what the analysts have said, though, is that if they do meet expectations, this should go up to $761. And the higher and higher this stock climbs, the more questions about a potential stock split are on the table. Before I get into that, let me just take a quick station break for the Moomoo investment app. Guys, if you need better trade tools, I want you to be aware that very soon, at the end of this month, an incredible deal that Moomoo is offering new accounts an 8.1% interest rate that you can earn on just leaving your cash sit in your account. I was talking to a friend this morning. He said he had $500,000 sitting in a trade account. I think it was Robinhood, just so he could get the 5%. And I said, hey man, you could put that money over on Moomoo and you would get 8.1%. There's a lot of people that are just sitting on some cash and trying to get the best possible deal from it. And right now, I think Moomoo's got the best possible deal. So if you just want to set some money somewhere, put it in no stocks, and take no risk position and earn 8.1%, you can do that on the Moomoo app, as well as the fact that they will give you the potential of receiving up to 15 free stocks. So for some, the need to get into Moomoo has nothing to do about the free stock or the 8.1%, but it's about getting better trade tools and improving their trading skills going into 2024. Guys, if you just need a place to accumulate some cash, earn 8.1%, and get prepared to buy the dip, click on the link for the Moomoo app and check out their offer. All right, there have been no analysts that have come out and said that Nvidia is anything other than a buy. There's been no hold initiated, no sell initiated. They've been going into this earnings, coming out and saying that the stock is still hot. The fact is that analysts believe that if they hit and meet their expectations, that the stock actually has more room to go higher, as high as $760 or even as high as $785. So what that brings us to is the potential of a stock split. You've been hearing a lot about it, and I wanted to take a brief moment to talk about what that would look like. For those who are still getting used to what all the terms in Wall Street are about, this doesn't change the underlying value of the stock at all. However, when stock splits occur, it often sends a signal that this stock is on the move and is going to continue to move in that fashion. You got to remember, the goal of Wall Street is always to trade the trend. And if we went from a stock that was valued under $400 last year to a stock that gets up to $800 or $1,000, and then we get a stock split, the fact is that most people would call that a strong bullish trend, and the likelihood is that it could happen even again. When Apple was on its upswing, this is what happened repeatedly that caused a lot of the investors to realize 600 or 1,000 or 2,000% returns over the course of a decade. That's what people are expecting is going to happen with Nvidia. What that would look like is that if you owned a single share of Nvidia and it did, let's say, reach $1,000, they would turn around and give you 10 shares, let's say if they wanted it to be valued at 100, which is sort of a general target price. $100 is a lot easier for investors to digest than a $1,000 stock. And the other thing that it enables them to do is it enables the company to give away more of the stock to their employees. It may be more applicable in many situations for them to offer a $100 share than it is to necessarily offer a $1,000 share. And so for many reasons, companies pursue a stock split, and this is absolutely a reasonable expectation for Nvidia. All right, so let's dive into the technicals and see what they say. As I said to you just a moment ago, I see resistance up at around 770. Specifically, the bottom end of that resistance is 760. The high end of that resistance is $785. Now, I see support down at 660. Beneath 660, I'm going to call there a range of support that begins at 660 and goes all the way down to 634. Now, I'm not telling you to wait on any of your decisions with the expectation that that's going to be the absolute number that it hits. What I'm telling you when I give you guys these target numbers is that that is a strong range of support. Previously, it had been a strong range of resistance, and so the stock tends to come down. You also have to look at things like the RSI, which measures oversold conditions. On shorter time frames, it was a significant drop. We're going to get to a place where it would bring a lot of buyers back in if we were to get down to those numbers. But I'm going to tell you that I do not at the moment have any signal to believe that the Nvidia run is over. If they come even close to meeting the market's expectation, I think there's a lot of people who have been locked out and have been looking and waiting to buy the first possible dip, and we just got it, or we may get it in the next couple days. So there are people who are going to be strategically buying this dip because they don't believe that the run is over. They're looking forward to that stock split, which I think is very, very possible for this company. Now, let's take a minute and do some more technicals. I like to look at candles, especially at the top of a run. We've had a huge run up on Nvidia, and what kind of candles did it recently give us? Well, it gave us a bearish indecision candle. It's called a doji candle over the last week. It gave it to us last Monday. That candle, if you're reading these candles, was absolutely signaling that this big drop was coming. Now, this candle, we've got a nice little tail developing on it. I am expecting a strong buy response at some point going into earnings tomorrow to give the stock the benefit of the doubt that they did crush those numbers, and like Bjorn's son at the beginning of the video, that these guys did do the impossible and have accomplished an amazing feat. But if I'm wrong and this is a miss, I think there's going to be a huge amount of volatility, and I'm going to be looking at a couple things. If you guys have been following me, you guys can kind of learn the way that I think. We've been in a long uptrend in an overbought environment on the RSI. One of the strongest buy signals that the rest of the market's going to be watching for is a comeback to the 50% point If we were to come back and hit that, that would be a very, very strong buy signal for people that wanted to add to their position to go long on Nvidia. So I would also be a buyer there. Or if we came down a little bit slower, but we got to my buy price zone that I gave you guys, I'd be a buyer there as well. I'm still bullish going into this year on this company, despite how much it's run up. That doesn't mean a thing to me at the moment if these guys are able to meet the market's expectations tomorrow or even come close to it and give decent guidance going into 2024. All right, so before I wrap this video up, I just wanted to talk about Tesla. I told everybody in my last video that I saw a strategic area of support at $190 and that I thought that by the end of this week that we're in now, maybe by Friday, we would work our way down there. Well, Tesla, it tends to be one of those companies that moves faster than I ever expect, and it got there pretty much in one day and it bounced. Now, here's the positive. So if we hold this 190 today and tomorrow, I think that we may have satisfied the pullback that I believed that we needed to have seen. And I do like the shape of the candle that we're getting today. And so any dip tomorrow morning is for me a high likelihood of a buy signal, especially if we hold that 190 going into the day and into the end of tomorrow. I believe that we could be back on our way to go and push up to 206, but more importantly to 217. That's what I was watching in the Tesla charts. I felt really good about it. I was wondering if you guys had seen the same thing. Did you buy some Tesla today? I am watching Tesla very closely into today's close and in tomorrow, guys. All right, that's it for today. Again, thank you for the like. If you made it this far, hit that like. Please don't neglect it. It pushes the video out to more viewers. And make sure that you hit subscribe to get the next big tech update on Nvidia and Tesla and Apple and some of the other ones I'm going to cover. Thank you guys for today. Peace and blessings. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.